Extra time.
What's first?
Team for us now.
Yes, the players missing out of the squad at the moment are Billy Stanlake, Adam Zampa, Mitch Marsh, who's unavailable, and Ashton Turner.
And can you talk us through a bit of the thinking there?
Yeah, I think we've got a few. Well, we've got all the bases covered there. I think myself and Alex Carey are going to open the batting. Usman 3, Sean 4, Pete Hanscom 5, Stoinis 6, Maxwell 7, and then raffle off the bowlers spots down past 8.
Alex opening, is that kind of, I suppose, is it something to look at for the World Cup?
Yeah, I think that it's just an opportunity for us to see Alex play in a position that he's done quite a bit now in Big Bash and one day cricket. It's a position that he's performed really well with over the last couple of years. So he's been shuffled around the order a little bit over the last little while, trying to search for that process or search for the right balance of the side. So he's going to get a good opportunity up there.
It's been a tough 12 months for the one-day team. World Cup not too far off.
Yep.
Are you confident you have enough time to find the right combinations and turn around the form?
Yeah, I think so. We've got 3 games here, which are going to be obviously very tough, and then straight to India for a couple of T20s and 5 ODIs against them again, and then Pakistan in Dubai and Abu Dhabi. So that's a very, very tough 13 games that we've got coming up there, and then obviously a few warm-up games, a few practice games against New Zealand, and then the World Cup preparations are really underway over in the UK. So there's still 13, 16, 17, 18, best part of 18 games to get that right. I think that while it'd be great to have had a settled side for the last 18 months or 12 months, but I think it's still enough time to get it right and make sure that come that World Cup we're ready to go and with a really balanced and settled side.
Would you have seriously looked at playing both footline spinners if Mitch had been fit, and is that a model of attack you're keen to look at seriously between now and the World Cup? Yeah,
no doubt. I think that the conditions that we're going to come up in India, the UAE as well, I think that there'll definitely be a place at some point for that. Adam's very stiff to miss out on a game tomorrow. He's performed reasonably well for us in the last little bit since he's made his comeback. So unfortunate for him to miss out, but yeah, we feel as though that those two together could play a really big part over the next 6, 8, 10 months.
And are you settling on that number 7 you feel is the best place to get the most out of Glenn? Are you seeing him as a finisher, batting first and batting second? Yeah,
it's a good question. I think that Maxi has floated throughout the order throughout his career. I think when we saw him at his absolute best was during the 2015 World Cup, where he was used as a floater when we had that power play when 3 fielders out. So there's still a lot of scope for him to float up and down the order as the game situation changes. I think with the idea with Pete at 5 there is to have a really good player of spin and a guy that can potentially bat through the innings. That type of solid player through that middle order, and then let the guys play around him.
Captain, tests are done. This is a different format.
Yep.
The test, Australia won a game in T20s with India. You think it's an opportunity for a fresh start and a new beginning for the Australia team to do well in this series?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that we're confident going into this series. We feel as though there's been a great vibe around the group. We've trained very well together. We're starting to get a balanced side that we feel is able to adapt to a lot of different conditions. So we played reasonably well in the T20s. We got that win in Brisbane. I think it's a good opportunity for us. Obviously, coming up against India, who have been in great form over a long period of time now, to test where we're really at.
Adam Zimmer said the other day that you guys had a bit of a team talk about what you guys need to do better in the one-day format. Can you just touch on some of those things you guys need to do ahead of the World Cup?
Yeah, I think it hasn't been a secret that through their middle overs has been a part where we've probably lost that 1 or 2 wickets too many, which when you're going into the back 10 overs, you're really stretching yourself when you've got the bowlers effectively batting at that point. We feel as though if we can keep some wickets in hand and really load up with some batters and some power at the back end of the innings, that'll give us a bit more oomph going into that last 10 overs and wickets through the middle as well. I think throughout the stats around the world, majority of teams' power plays are pretty similar. The majority of teams' back 10 overs are pretty similar as well. So it's just their middle overs, which obviously 30 overs is a long time of the game. About getting that a little bit better, a little bit more often. I think that we've got people who can do it. We've got people who can play different types of roles with Usman and Sean, Pete, Stoyne, Maxi. So I think it's a well balanced side.
Just on the team photo yesterday, it seems like a bit of handsy stuff going on in the front row. Fair to say that you guys are pretty close.
I don't know what happens with Sids and Zamps. Sean and Mitch, that's a different story, but yeah, I've got nothing for you on that.
Great for the boys to be able to pull on the 80s retro gear.
Yeah, it's brilliant. I think there's been a huge amount of excitement around it. We knew we'll go in retro for this series. We didn't know which vintage it was going to be, so it's brilliant. All the boys love it. The reaction from the public's been great as well. So hopefully we can. Is it 86? Is that when it's from 86? Hopefully we can do them guys proud and Australia proud. It's a big series. It's a series that will obviously we want to win, but the kid is pretty cool.
Aaron, there's a few guys in this squad, including yourself, who were dropped from the Test team a couple of days ago. Have you spoken about that as a group, or done anything to ensure that you're all in the right frame of mind heading into this series? No,
I think if you don't really need to talk about it. For me personally, averaging 16 isn't good enough. Whether you're openly batting, whether you're batting at 7, it's not good enough. So I wasn't surprised. I was disappointed. You always want to be playing every chance you can for Australia, but it wasn't a surprise. Sean and Mitch, or Sean in particular, he knows that he missed a couple of opportunities with the bat to get some big scores. So yeah, I think anytime there's a couple of guys drop, there's always disappointment. But at the end of the day, in your heart, you know when you leave yourself vulnerable. If you're averaging 40 for the series and get dropped, you can ask some questions. But I think if you're averaging 20 or somewhere around there, you've left yourself wide open to put your head on the chopping block.
I know you'd said during the week you wish you had taken a break a bit earlier. Are you feeling a bit fresher and a bit more confident heading into this series? Yeah, feeling very good actually. It was not ideal getting dropped, obviously, but it was great to get home and live a bit of a normal life. It was a really tough, probably 12 or 14 months on the road. So it was good to be able to just get away from cricket for a couple of days. Doesn't seem like a long time, but it really was, and to come back into the side fresh after not picking up a bat for a while, it felt really good. Yeah, I wish I had have done it earlier, and like I said, I got into a bit of a bad habit for me personally of just batting too much, and I think that's easy to do when you're searching for runs, you're searching for form, and you think you have to keep batting longer and longer to find that rhythm. And I just wish I had have put the bat down a bit earlier and went into a game a bit fresher, and not thinking technique or just watching the ball. At the end of the day, that's all you can control. So yeah, feeling good now though.
Last four, so Andrew, Rob, Tom, and that's it.
You know Peter Siddle very well, both
Yep.
Australian and state cricket. He said yesterday how he's feeling young again after his call back to the one day side. Is it like having the new kid around the squad again? He says he feels like it's his debut again. Yeah, absolutely. He's a great man. He's someone who every team loves having him around. He does act like an 8-year-old kid at times around any team, not just a one-day team. So don't be mistaken there. But for Sids, I think for him to go away and work on the skills that he's brought to the table over the last couple of years in Big Bash cricket is outstanding. I think he probably went with a real red ball focus for a long time there and probably neglected the one-day skills. And then to come back and have a 8-week period last year where he just focused on skills for the white ball, how quickly he learnt, how quickly he improved on all of that was unbelievable, and he's just kept doing that. So he well and truly deserves his spot, and any tour that you go on, Sid is one of the first names picked, I'd think, for what he brings to the team and the skill set that he brings.
You touched on the Pakistan series a bit earlier. Looks like this one will be in the UAE, but they're obviously keen to get cricket back in Pakistan at some point. Do you would you like to see that in the short term? And have you chatted with any of the Australian guys who went over for that World 11 game or the Pakistan Super League?
No, I haven't chatted to any of them, honestly. I think it'd be great to get cricket back in Pakistan, no doubt. The passion that their fans have got and just the amount of fans that they've got. You see at times playing in some pretty empty stadiums in the UAE. And then any time that there's cricket back in Pakistan, they're swinging from the rafters to get a seat to watch some cricket again. So it'd be great to see it. I'm not sure if it's on the table to happen. That's between the boards, I guess, and the ACA and things like that to work through that. So, but yeah, it would be great to see it back there. But is it the right time? I'm not sure. I don't know enough about it to make much of a comment on that.
The track's been pretty flat out there this summer.
Yep.
Have you had a look for a start? I mean, do you see this as a sort of 300 bat first strip, or it's been a little bit wet lately?
I think with it being quite hot today and tomorrow, I think it would change a lot between now and the toss tomorrow. So I'm not sure. I think the stats probably suggest batting first is the way to go. I think it's batting first has won a higher percentage. I don't know. I can't remember exactly how high it is, but it's usually a pretty good track for one-day cricket. It's an entertaining game. Generally pretty high scoring, so I think that it's about just doing it well. If we bat first, trying to post a big total. If you bowl, restrict them and chase them down. Hopefully a bit of dew comes in if you do bat second. It's one of those games that, regardless of who it's against or what time of year it is, it's always a great contest, a great spectacle.
Stan, I'm sure there's a lot of attention on Virat, Kohli, but India's bowlers have done really well.
Yeah.
In one-day cricket, who's the biggest threat for them? And I guess not having Bumrah out there must be like a late Christmas present.
Yeah, Bumrah's played a huge part for their one-day side, all their sides over the last little while. Bhuvaneshwar Kumar's someone who's had success at all levels as well. He can move the new ball, executes well at the death. The two spinners have played a huge role in Kuldeep and Chahal over the last probably 18 months as well. So there's no real weak links in their side. They've got an extra spin option with Jadeja in the squad. Yadav who can bowl some off spin. Big Khalil, the left armour, who can swing it early and bowl with some decent pace. Who else is there? Siraj, Shami. It's a pretty well balanced attack. They've got left, right arm, spin, off spin, leg spin. So they've got plenty of options, and there's no surprise that they're number 2 in the world. That they play their own conditions very well, but I think as a group now, the amount of times that they are winning away from home in the shorter formats is credit to them. But we're still very confident that we can beat them. We're bringing some good confidence into this series and a really good balanced side as well.
Very last one.
Captain, obviously India rely heavily on their top 3, Rohit, Shikhar and Virat, and the middle order has been short of runs in recent times. So what sort of preparations have you gone in for those top 3?
Yeah, they play a huge part. Obviously, I think over the last 12 months, Virat's averaged 133, Shikhar 75, Rohit 50. So there's a lot of runs and a lot of balls faced between the top 3 in the last 12 months alone. So it's important to get them early, or as early as you can, because once they get in, they score fast enough, and they don't seem to get out too easily. So I think it's about trying to get as many early wickets as you can. It's pretty obvious to say, but they've still got some class in that middle order. They've got Dinesh Karthik, Yadav, Dhoni, these guys that can all play their part as well. But obviously the top 3 are very important, but you can't just look at that. Otherwise, there's someone else that will catch you off guard and get the job done as well. So it'll be a good series, and we're looking forward to it.
Hit the subscribe option and the bell icon to get all the exclusive sports videos on Extra Time.